So this video is integrated 3, chapter 11B, D-Day number 3, Tiger. So for this, we're trying to solve a system. We're trying to decide if we should eliminate our X's, if we should eliminate our Y's, or if we should eliminate our Z's. And honestly, we could do any of them. Because my Z is negative on the second equation, I think I'm going to use that one because I can easily times it by 3 and eliminate the 3z in the first equation. I could also times it by 2 and eliminate the 2z in the third equation. So I think I'm going to eliminate my z's. So let me focus on my z's. So I'm going to call this one equation 1, this one equation 2, this one equation 3. So I am going to take equation 2. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply it by, let's say, 3. So 3 times 2x plus 4y minus z is equal to 15. So that's going to give me a 6x plus 12y minus 3z is equal to 45. So again, that's my new equation 2. I'm going to use it with equation 1 to get rid of my 3z. That's going to be my goal. So, I'm going to have x plus y plus 3z is equal to 6. I'm going to combine those. And when I do, I'm going to end up with 7x plus 13y is equal to 51. So write my 13 better. I'm going to call this one equation 4. So I'm going to again use 2. But this time when I use 2, I'm going to times it by a 2. So I'm going to have a 2x plus 4y minus z equal 15. My goal is to get rid of this 2. So when I do that, I'm going to get a 4x plus 8y minus 2z is equal to 30. Okay, again, this is my new equation 2. So then I'm going to use equation 3, which is a 3x minus 3y plus 2z is equal to a negative 19. And when I add that together, I'm going to end up with a 7x plus 5y is equal to 11. That's going to be, let's say, equation 5. So now I'm going to take 4 and 5. And what you'll notice is in 4 and 5, I have a 7x and a 7x. So I'm going to try to eliminate that 7x. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this equation here by a negative 1. Okay, and then let me write it up here. So this is going to be my new equation 5. Okay, here, let me write it in purple. My new equation 5. So it's going to be a negative 7x minus 5y equals a negative 11. I'm going to add them together. My x's cancel. I get a, sorry, not 6, an 8y is equal to a 40. So y is equal to 5. So then what I'm going to do is I am going to substitute that in to either equation 4 or equation 5. Let's say I do it into equation 5 because I need to solve this system right here that I had 2 equations and 2 variables. I'm not done solving that yet. Okay. So I'm going to into equation 4. I am going to go 7x. No, actually, let me do it in equation 5, smaller numbers. Okay. So into equation 5. And I'm going to do it into this one that I didn't have a negative multiplied by it. So that's going to be 7 times 5. No, 7x, I apologize. Plus 5 times 5 equals 11. So 7x, it's a really bad 7. 7x plus 25 is equal to 11. I'm going to minus 25 from both sides, and I get a negative 14. And so x is a negative 2. So now I can take those two and plug them into either equation 1, 2, or 3. I'm trying to find z. I think I'm going to do it into equation 2. Okay. So equation 2 is 2 times my x, which is 2, plus 4 times my y, which is 5, minus z is equal to 15. So I'm going to have a 4 plus 20. I'm going to minus my 15 and take my z to the other side. So I am going to get basically 4 plus 5. So my z is going to be 9. So my point of intersection, my solution is going to be 2, 5, 9. On number 2, I'm going to be doing a system, but I'm going to be plugging these points into the equation of a parabola here, standard form, and get 3 different equations. So let's start with 1, 5. That's going to give me 5 is equal to a times 1 squared plus b times 1 plus c. That's going to end up giving me my first equation, which is 5 is equal to a plus b plus c. Okay, I'm going to use my second point, 2, 10. So I'm going to have 10 is equal to a times 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c. That's going to give me my second equation, which is going to be 10 is equal to 4a plus 2b plus c. I'm going to use negative 1, 13. So I'm going to have 13 is equal to a times negative 1 squared plus b times negative 1 plus c. That's going to give me my third equation, which is a 13 is equal to a minus b plus c. So again, every time we're doing these problems, we're going to have a c, and a c. So it's easiest to eliminate our c's. And I think I'm going to do it with equation 1. I'm going to multiply equation 1 by a negative 1. Okay, so my equation 1 is now going to be a negative 5 is equal to a negative a minus b minus c. And I'm going to use that with number 2 and then again with number 3. So let me use number 2. Sorry. Let me use number 2. So for number 2, I'm going to have 10 is equal to 4a plus 2b plus c. Add that up. And I get 5 is equal to 3a plus b. That's going to be, let's say, equation 4. So I'm going to take 1 again. The same one I just used, -5 is equal to -a minus b minus c. And this time I'm going to use it with my third equation. So that's a 13 is equal to a minus b plus c. When I do that, I end up getting 8 is equal to, my a's cancel. I get a -2b, my c's cancel. So I'm actually going to get -4 is equal to b. Okay, so I get that. So I'm actually going to come put that into this equation. So I'm going to have 5 is equal to 3a minus 4. So 9 is equal to 3a. So my a is going to be 3. So now we just need to find the c. So I think I'm going to plug it into the original number 1 equation, which was 5 is equal to a, which is 3, plus b, which is a -4, plus c. So I get 5 is equal to -1 plus c. So 6 is equal to c. And then we are going to write an equation. So our equation is going to be y is equal to 3x squared minus 4x plus 6. And that's our equation. On number 3. So again, I'm going to be looking at my x's or my y's or my z's. I'm thinking the z's because of the positive and negative z, okay, and a 2z. So I am going to eliminate my z's. So I'm going to have equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. And I'm going to start by taking 1, which is x plus y plus z equals 6. And I'm going to be adding it with equation 2, which is 2x plus y minus c is equal to 1. I'm going to add these up, and I'm going to get a 3x plus 2y is equal to 7. I'm going to call this one equation 4. So I am going to actually use 2, but this time with the 2, I'm going to try to get this to become a -2z. So that will get rid of this +2z. So I am going to times equation 2 by 2. So let me just write the equation. Okay, so that's going to give me a 4x plus 2y minus 2z is equal to 2. Okay. And I'm going to use that with equation 3. So that's going to be a 3x plus 2y plus 2z is equal to 13. So I get a 7x plus 4y, my z's cancel, is equal to 15. So this will be equation 5. So looking at these two equations, okay, this one here and this one here, I'm going to solve that system. I think I'm going to try to get rid of this positive 4y with this positive 2y. So I am going to take equation 4. I'm going to multiply it by a -2. And I'm going to get a -6x minus 4y equals -14. I'm going to use it with equation 5. So equation 5 is a 7x plus 4y equals 15. When I add this together, I'm going to end up getting, let's see, I'm going to end up getting x, my y's are going to cancel, is equal to 1. Okay, so I got x is 1. Now I can substitute that into, I think equation 4 would be probably the easiest. So 3 times 1 plus 2y equals 7. So 2y is going to equal 4. So y is going to be 2. And then I think I'm going to plug it into equation 1. So when I put those into equation 1, my x is 1, my y is 2. I need to find my z. And when I do that, I'm going to get z is equal to 3. And so my point is going to be 1, 2, 3. So number 4. Okay, similar to number 2. So 1, 4 is going to give me 4 is equal to a times 1 squared plus b times 1 plus c. So equation 1 is going to be 4 is equal to a plus b plus c. Equation 2 comes from 2, 9. So I'm going to have 9 is equal to a times 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c. So that's going to be 9 is equal to 4a plus 2b plus c. And -2, 13. That's going to give us 13 is equal to a times -2 squared plus b times -2 plus c. So that's going to give me 13 is equal to 4a minus 2b plus c. Again, I'm going to eliminate my c's. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to multiply this equation here, first one, by a -1. So I'm going to have -4 is equal to -a minus b minus c. I'm going to use that with equation 2. So 9 is equal to 4a plus 2b plus c. I'm going to add these up, and I'm going to get 5 is equal to 3a plus b. I'm going to call this equation 4. I'm going to take equation 1 again, the one that was multiplied by a -1, so -4 is equal to -a minus b minus c. I'm going to use it with equation 3. So I have 13 is equal to 4a minus 2b plus c. And I am going to end up getting 9 is equal to 3a minus 3b. Now this is going to be equation 5. Now I could divide everything there by 3, but what I notice is I have a 3a and a 3a. So I'm going to multiply one of them by a -1. Let's say I multiplied this one by a -1. And so I'm going to get -5 is equal to -3a minus b. I'm going to get 4 is equal to -4b. So b is a -1. I still need to find my a, so let's say I plug it into number 4. So 5 is equal to 3a minus 1. So 6 is equal to 3a. So 2 is equal to a. And then for c, let's plug it into number 1. Okay, so number 1, 4 is equal to a, which is 2, b, which is a -1, and c. So 4 is equal to 1 plus c. So 3 is equal to c. Then my last step, we need to write an equation of a parabola. So it's going to be y is equal to 2x squared minus x plus 3. That's our equation. On number 5, we have a arithmetic or geometric series here. Looking at this, I'm thinking it is geometric. So I'm going to take the second number, which is a -84.5. I'm going to divide it by the first number, which is 130. And let's see if we get something decent. So -84.5 divided by 130, I get a -0.65. Now, let me just make sure that that works from here to here. So I'm going to take a -84.5 on my calculator and times it by a -0.65 to make sure that I get this. So let me just do that. And I did end up getting a 54.925. So this is my R. That's what I'm timesing by. Now, that's not what they're asking us. It's asking us for the sum of the first 13 terms. So this is geometric. So I want S sub 13 is going to be equal to the first term, which is 130, times 1 minus my R, which is a -0.65 raised to the power 12. Sorry, I put 13 here. I want the first 12 terms. Close the parenthesis all over 1 minus R, which is a -0.65. So really, this is going to be 130, 1 minus a -0.65. That's not going to change. I'm going to put in my calculator, but do not think a negative times a negative is a positive, because it is a negative times a negative being to the 12th power, which actually is going to be even. So I'm going to leave that as is. Okay. And then on bottom, really, it's going to be a 1 plus 0.65. But if you put all this in your calculator, even as it was on the top, should get the right answer. So 130 times 1 minus the quantity, -0.65. Close that parenthesis, raise to the 12th. And then I'm going to raise that whole thing to have that whole thing to a parenthesis, divided by 1 minus a negative, or basically plus 0.65. And I end up with 78 point, let's say 34 as our answer. Now, of infinite sum, number 1, we have to look at our R. Our R in absolute value has to be between 0 and 1, and it is. So for my infinite sum, I'm going to take my initial value, which is 130, over 1 minus my R, which is a -0.65. So basically it's going to become plus 8.65 on bottom. So 130 divided by the quantity 1 plus 0.65 gives me 78.78 repeating. On number 6, we want to find the first term. We know the third and the 19th. So basically a sub n is going to be -7 plus d times n minus 3, because the -7 is my third term. And I'm going to put in my 19th term. So I get a 105 is equal to -7 plus d times 19 minus 3. So I'm going to get 105 is equal to a -7 and then plus 16d. Going to add 7. I'm going to divide by 16. So 112 divided by 16 is a 7. So that means I'm adding 7. So basically a sub n is equal to -7 plus 7 times n minus 3. That's our equation. Since I want to find the first term, I'm going to put in a 1. So a sub 1 is equal to -7 plus 7 times 1 minus 3. So that means that a sub 1 is equal to -7 plus 7 times -2. So I'm going to get a -7 minus 14, which is a -21. And that's going to be your first term. On 7, we're trying to find one term in this. We're trying to find the 6th term. So what we do is we take our power, which is 7, minus our term, which is 6, and then we always add 1. And when I do that, I end up with a 2. So since this is a 7 here, I'm going to have 7 choose 2 because of that 2. And then that's going to be times by a 5x to the 4th raised to the 2nd because of this 2 and this 2. And times a -2x. And that's going to be raised to the power 5 because the 2 and the 5 add to 7. And then I'm going to put that into my calculator. So 7 choose 2 times basically a 5 squared times a -25 to the 5th. I ended up getting a -16, so -16,800 x to the 4th, x to the 5th, sorry, x to the 4th raised to the 2nd, so that's going to be x to the 8th. I apologize. And then I can clean that up. So that's going to be -16,800 x to the 13th. So on number 8, we're dividing by an x plus 3. I'm going to use synthetic division. I'm going to put a -3 here. I have a 2. I need a 0 for my 4th, x to the 4th, and you've got a -5. I need a 0 for my x squared, then I have a 1, then I have a -8. Bring this down, I get a 2. Multiply, I get a -6. Okay, add, I get a -6. Multiply, I get an 18, which is a 13. Multiply, I get a -39, which is a -39. Okay, so a -39 times a -3 is 117, so that's going to be a 118. 118 times a negative 3 is a negative 351. So that's going to be a negative 359. So this was a fifth power. So this is going to be 2x to the fourth minus 6x cubed plus 13x squared minus 39x plus 118 minus 359 over x plus 3. And that's our answer. On number 9, write the equation in standard form for this. So this is going to give me an x plus 2. This is going to give me an x minus 3. This is going to give me an x minus 5. So I need to multiply 2 of these together. And then I'm going to times that with the third thing. So these are going to become an x squared minus x minus 6. And that's going to multiply with my x minus 5. So at this point, I am going to do a box. I have x minus 5, x squared minus x minus 6. So that's going to give me x cubed, negative x squared, negative 6x, negative 5x squared, 5x, and a 30. So my final answer is going to be x cubed minus 6x squared minus x plus 30. On number 10, we're doing a graph. Our amplitude is going to be the opposite value of a negative 2, which is 2. Our vertical shift is 5. Our period is 2 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 3. And my phase shift is a pi force. So when I'm doing this, I need to get up to 5. And then I'm going to be going 2 above 5 and 2 below 5, which is going to be a 3, sorry. And my 5 is going to be my center because that's my vertical shift. My 7 and 3 are my high and my low. This is a sine. It's going to be starting at pi force, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, from here to here, it's going to be going a total of pi thirds difference. So I am going to take a pi force plus a pi thirds. I'm going to get a common denominator. So that's going to be a 3 pi twelfths and a 4 pi twelfths, which becomes 7 pi twelfths. And then my cosine's going to, my sine's going to start at 0. Because it's negative, it's going to go down, then back to 0, up, then back to 0. And that's our negative sign. And that's the end of this video.